Due to the unusual circumstances surrounding the coronavirus, there will be no service today at the Luna Lane Church of Christ. We pray that this pre-recorded message will benefit you and inspire you, and we look forward to returning to our gatherings together.
Hello, I'm Nick Rayfield, preacher of the Luna Lane Church of Christ in Hendersonville, Tennessee. The pews are empty in the Luna Lane Church of Christ building this Sunday, something that has rarely happened since the congregation began in 1974. Our elders are distressed over the decision to cancel Bible study, worship, and the partaking of the Lord's Supper. But out of an abundance of caution, the decision was made to share this message with you in this way, pre-recorded, in lieu of the live streaming of our entire worship service, which is normally what we do. We hope we'll all be back together soon, but for now, we're heeding the advice of social distancing in order to protect the health of our members as well as the community. But social distancing does not mean disengagement. We'll be staying in touch with our members and stand ready to offer assistance to our members as well as anyone in the community that needs our help. None of us have ever lived through something like this COVID-19 pandemic, and it's unsettling to say the very least. Our lives have been instantly changed. Just a few weeks ago, our nation had a strong economy, and then the virus caused the stock market to plunge and the economy to tank. Schools have closed. Businesses have either closed or dramatically reduced their hours and methods of service. Sports arenas and stadiums sit empty. Some of the shelves in our grocery stores are bare. Gatherings of people are being discouraged, and even our churches are closing the doors temporarily. It's important for us to realize this is a worldwide event that has affected 128 countries on Mother Earth. It started in China, but spread with relentless speed throughout the globe. We watched the map of America as one by one our individual states were attacked by this invisible enemy until the entire map turned red and fears became real. So why is this happening? How does the entire earth become covered with these vicious germs? Is there a reasonable explanation as to why and what we can do about it? I've heard many people express opinions about why this is happening, but it seems we can divide all these opinions into three broad categories. One, some say it's just happenstance. They suggest there's no real reason for this. It's just the course of nature and something we have to deal with, like floods or storms. Others suggest it's the work of the devil, who is trying to coax the people of God away from God. And of course, the devil would like to see God's people rise up with the rest of the world and curse God. And then thirdly, there's another group who believe God is punishing the entire world for their disobedience and lack of reverence toward the Creator. They cite the great flood of Noah as a biblical example of God losing patience with His creation. What do you think? Why do you think the earth has been smitten by this terrible pandemic? You know, this is not the first time this has happened. There have been some dreadful diseases that have gripped our country in fear. In the book of Isaiah, which was written some 8 centuries before the days when Christ walked upon the earth, there's a similar example worth noting. In Isaiah chapter 26, There's a song of trust about the Lord's protection. In the land of Judah, the people were singing about the strength of their city until disobedience caused it to be cast into dust. In verse 20, the instruction is given, "Come, my people, enter into your rooms and close the doors behind you. Hide for a little while until the indignation runs its course." Then in the next verse, "For behold, the Lord is about to come out from his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity." In verse 9, a possible reason is given for this kind of suffering. "At night my soul longs for you. Indeed, my spirit within me seeks you diligently. For when the earth experiences your judgments, the inhabitants of the world learn righteousness." Now some might scoff at the idea that God is trying to teach us a lesson. But in verse 3 it says, "The steadfast in mind will have perfect peace." And the admonition in verse 4 is to trust the Lord forever because he is our everlasting rock. Perhaps all three of these reasons offer some measure of explanation about why this is happening. But this is certainly one of those times when we should humble ourselves in the sight of the Lord, because he will lift us up. See James 4, chapter 4, verse 10. In 1 Kings chapter 9, after Solomon had completed the building of God's holy temple, God promised to bless Solomon if he kept the Lord's commandments. But God also said that if Solomon or his sons turned away from following him and his commandments, that he would cut Israel off from the promised land and reduce the temple to a heap of ruins. In 2 Chronicles chapter 7, beginning in verse 13, God spoke to Solomon, and he said, "If I shut up the heavens so there is no rain, or if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people, and my people who are called by my name humble themselves, and pray and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and will forgive their sin, and heal their land." Our elders carefully considered the decision to cancel services. This was definitely a difficult call to make. We want to make it very clear, we are not abandoning the church flock at Luna Lane, nor are we turning our back on our community. We'll continue to stay in touch with everyone through iMessage, our Facebook page, email, and the telephone. This message is presented as a safer alternative. We should all continue to offer up fervent prayers, and we'll definitely ask that God be with you until we meet again. If you have any needs, please let us know, and we'll do what we can. Brother Brandon Walsh and others have offered to bring things to you from the grocery or drugstores and place them on your porch. This congregation is bound together in love, and we don't want to see anyone suffering. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this message. Every week, during our Sunday worship services, we partake of the Lord's Supper, and will continue to do so until Jesus returns to take us home. While it is not possible for us to serve communion to you through your television or computer screen, we encourage you to partake of the Lord's Supper in the privacy of your own home. The song that follows, a recording of singing at the Luna Lane Church of Christ, is intended to assist you in that observance.
There was one who was willing to die in my stead, that a soul so unworthy might live, and the path to the cross he was willing to tread, all the sins of my life to forgive. They are nailed to the cross, they are nailed to the cross. Oh, how much he was willing to bear. With what anguish and loss Jesus went to the cross, but he carried my sins with him there. He is tender and loving and patient with me, while he cleanses my heart on its dross. But there's no condemnation, I know I am free, for my sins are all nailed to the cross. They are nailed to the cross, they are nailed to the cross. Oh, how much he was willing to bear. With what anguish and loss Jesus went to the cross, and he carried my sins with him there. I will cling to my Savior and never depart. I will joyfully journey each day, with a song on my lips and a song in my heart, that my sins have been taken